So we're here. So the first thing that we're going to do is, in order for us to create this blue-green deployment in Elastic Beanstalk, we already have this EB deployed, right? So we're going to create another folder, and we're going to call it blue-green deployment, right? Right? And then inside blue-green deployment, and we're going to create another guy here, instructions, right? And I'm going to call that one blue-green instructions. Okay, empty. And I'm going to put here a dash here. Okay, right? And the first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to do the same as this, right? So we're going to create a folder. We already created the folder, right? And we're going to copy this. So create a folder, and the folder we named it blue-green deployment, right? We cd into that folder, right? And there we create an app in it, and we're going to call the app blue-green app, right? So we're going to do that. And we're going to create an HTML file, and that is going to have a blue, like probably maybe all version, the text, all version, and that's going to be blue, right? So, and then we create the environment. Then we create an environment, create the blue environment. Name, we're going to name it maybe old and blue, right? And then we're gonna do create EV, create EV create, right? And this is the name of the environment, right? Then after that, we're going to edit. We're going to edit the same file, right? HTML file, right? And have the new version, the green one, right? And then we're going to create the blue environment, the green environment, right? So we're going to create the green environment, and that will be new, and then green. Okay, maybe it looks better like this. Okay, maybe like this it looks better. Okay. Right. And here we have this name here. After we have that, what we're going to do is go to the old environment, the blue one, and then we swap the URLs. Right? Swap the URLs. Right? Once we have swapped the URLs, right? Make sure that everything is swapped because due to the TTL, which is time to live, right? Right? It may take some time for the new environment to have the swap URL, the content, okay? So number 8, we delete or terminate the old environment, okay? So remember what I said, this is good when you want to test an environment, and then once you test it, it works well, then you send the entire traffic to the new environment. So you don't want to send all the traffic to the new environment just like that before you test it. You send some traffic to the new environment, and once it's been tested out and works, then you send the remaining balance traffic to that. Also, Route 53 can be used for that. There's a routing policy named weighted routing policy where you can send 10% to the new environment and 90% to the old environment. Also, there's another type of migration is called canary deployment. Canary deployment, right? In AWS, canary deployment, AWS. Okay, this is canary deployment. Canary deployment, a slow rollout of a new version of an existing application. So let us see if it takes us to more explanation about that. I want to see canary like linear deployment. See here. Okay, looking deployment. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have code deploy Lambda Canary 10% 5 minutes. So you send 10% 5 minutes for 5 minutes, and then after that you send the other 90%. So those, but I want to see canary. Probably see here canary, the linear ones. Single page. Okay, canary. Okay, I don't see it now, but code deploy. This is code deploy Lambda. Okay, that's fine. So implementing canary deployments, because you can deploy with the Lambda function as well. Let me see this one with the API gateway. So we have API gateway. Okay. Let's see now. Okay. So the way, okay, you can send linear like 10%, right? And you could also send 10% every 10 minutes, right? Like every 10 minutes. And then that's gonna take like 10 times, right? Because you have to send 10% every 10 minutes. It's gonna take you like 100 minutes. That's 1 hour and 40 minutes to get the entire thing, right? But right now we're doing this in Elastic Beanstalk and we're manually changing the URLs, okay? So the first thing that we're gonna do is create a file inside this guy, okay? And first of all, we have to init into it, right? We have to EB init. We have to create the application inside the blue-green deployment. So we're gonna come here and cd into blue, okay? And now that we're there, we say EB init, right? We have to do the same thing as before. We select the region, US East 1. And then once we have that, the application name, according to the instructions that we have here, we're gonna call it blue-green app. So we're gonna come back here and then say blue-green app. Okay, that's gonna be our application. It's been created. It's going to be a PHP 8, number 1. I'm not using SSH now. And I said, that's it. So the application has been created. Go back to our Elastic Beanstalk console, and we'll be able to see that there's an application there. If we refresh the page, we'll be able to see an application that's been created. Okay, so far so good. What we did before, exactly the same. So right now we don't have an environment, we have to create it. So create one, we can do it manually if you want to, right? She's a web server environment, but we're not gonna do it manually. We're gonna do it from the CLI, okay? So we come back, and now the next step is to create a file. We're gonna come here. This is all created when we initialize EB. So inside this guy, I'm gonna create a file and call it index.html. Right? And now I'm gonna say HTML, just like we did before, right? And I'm going to say, I'm gonna have the head tag, right? And outside, I'm going to have the body tag, right? So in the body tag, I'm gonna have a div, right? Which is a section. And I'm gonna call this, I'm gonna identify it as the container, okay? Inside that container, I'm going to have an H1, and I'm gonna say new environment, okay? Version 1, right? New environment version 1, okay? So now inside the head, I'm gonna type style tag, which is to add styling to the file, to this web application, to the HTML file. So say container, because that's the class, so we refer that with a dot container. We're gonna first center it, right? We're gonna center it. The color of the font is gonna be white, right? Because by default it's black. And the background color of this is gonna be, this is the old environment, not the new environment, okay? Version 1. So this is gonna be blue, okay? Now, if we see it in our browser, we can right click and find it in the Finder, Mac. So try to locate that file and you can open it in the browser, right? And this is what we're gonna get, right? This is what we get right now, okay? Okay. So let us improve and let us make this width. Let's say the width of this is gonna be probably 80%, right? And if I do this, I get this. Okay, I don't like that. So maybe maybe the width is maybe 40 pixels. I have double colons here. So maybe 300. And now I'm gonna make it a little bigger than that, 400. So I can have everything in the same line, perfect. But now this guy doesn't work, the text align. So what I'm gonna do is do the following. I'm gonna say margin left, and then I'm gonna put this 400 pixels. Let's see what it falls now. A little more, maybe 600. A little more. a little less. All right, good. So a little more width. Okay, and now a little padding so we can separate the font from the borders. So we say padding, and we're going to say 10 pixels. Okay, and then we're going to see that the letter is going to be separated from the border. All right. Okay. Maybe a little less. 5 is good. Right. Good. So that will be the all version right there. Right. You see here maybe a width a little bit more. Separate a little bit more. And then the test line can be centered. Oh, good. Part 2. Trying to have something here. Good. So that's fine. That's fine. Okay. So we can have maybe some effects like box shadow. You say 16 pixels in one side, 6 pixels in the other one. Pixels in the other one, 16 pixels in the other one, 16 pixels in the other one. So top, right, bottom, left. Okay. We have nothing. So we can say here maybe black as the color that we're using for that. And we can have something like this. Right. Okay. So it's just like, you know, it's like a 3-dimension.
It's a shadow box.
Right? Yeah, shadow box. So maybe we can remove of the shadow in the background.
Man, I keep getting your when you're talking, it keeps cutting out on me. I don't know what's going on. I don't think anybody else is having that problem.
Have you tried unplugging your computer and plugging it back in?
I've already left Zoom and restarted my computer, so I don't know.
So we can say margin top maybe 60 pixels. Right, to make it lower, right here, right? And maybe the color can be a yellow one instead of a white one, right? So this is what we get now, okay? Yeah. And we can have different nuances here of the yellow. Maybe we can have something like an orange color like this, maybe. And we can have something like this, right? Okay, so we have the old version there. Okay. Now this is the old version. Let me post this on Slack so you guys can have it. Right. Right. And now we can go ahead and deploy this, right? So we're gonna name, according to the instructions here, we're gonna name this environment all blue env. Okay, so we're going to tap here, type EB create, right? And okay, something wrong here. Okay, EB create, and then we say all blue env. Is that what it is? Let me make sure that I have the correct name. All blue env. Okay, perfect. So I can go ahead and create this environment. Okay. So it's created an environment right now. So in the meantime, while this is being created, I can go ahead and change the code, right? And now I can have here, instead of old, I can say new, and then I can say version 2, right? The most updated one. So the color is not going to blue, it's going to be green, right? Green. And then I have to look for a color that matches the green. So I'm going to put here probably maybe this one or a very obscure one. That one, right? Let us see. Let us see now here. Where's the browser? Where's the browser? Okay, here. So we have this now. Okay. So now we have to use like maybe a white one. Yeah, white, right?
Did you deploy after you did the HTML?
I did already.
Okay.
And I'm just editing the file. My environment is being created now. It's right here, right? So right now I have the new version here. Okay, new environment version 2. Okay, now what I have to do is deploy the second one, and the name is going to be what? What's the name? New green env. So what I have to do here in the second, I open another CLI. In Mac is Control D. Okay, navigate to the folder where the application is and create the other one. So that's going to be new green env and create it, right? What have we here?
You skipped a bunch of steps.
Okay, wait. Okay, so okay, I have to move to blue-green deployment. Okay, and now I can do that. You can say EB create new. So that will create the new environment with the updates, with the change that I made. Okay, right? So now I have 2 environments be created at the same time. Okay, this is the blue one and this is the green one. Okay, blue one, green one. Now I can go ahead, go back to this guy and refresh, and I will see soon that there are 2, the old blue env and the new green env. One already is okay. So if I click here, I see the old environment version deployed, right? So I'm going to open it like this, opening the tab right here. I can see it, right? And let us wait for this one to be created. Even though I was provided a link, but it might not be available yet because I believe the instance is not created yet. The instance hasn't been created yet. Okay, so it's still in the process of being created. So
Mine says environment not found. I messed up something.
environment not found.
Yeah.
Okay, remember you have to be in the folder where you created the application. Remember EB init, don't forget that. That's the first step, right? And you have to be in the folder where that was created. Right? So we're now waiting for that to be created. Guys, do you have any questions in the meantime?
Yeah. It's not creating it for some reason.
Now wait, I check that now. The new environment is already here. The old environment, the new environment. Okay. Right. So let us wait for this to be created. And then once it's created, as you can see, believe that CLI is also indicated that they both were launched successfully, right? Perfect. Now what we have to do, and we're gonna get back to you, Nathan, just give me one moment. I'm gonna go ahead here and go to the old environment, right? And once I'm there, I'm going to swap the URLs, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead here and actions, swap environment URLs. So this is done when you see that the green environment is working, right? Once the new version is completely working, then you go ahead and swap the URLs, okay? Because you want to move all the traffic to the new version, okay? So what's gonna happen here is that this URL here is gonna be changed to the test, to the green one, and this one is going to give it to the other environment. It's going to swap, right? So let's go ahead and swap. So we have here the environment details, environment name, all blue environment URL, all blue environment is going to swap with this environment, with the new green environment, right? And then we go ahead and swap it. And now the swap process is there, swapping CNAMEs for environment, and already done. It happened already. So as you can see here, the old blue env has now the new green env. And the new green env has the old blue env. So it's swapped it. And here we have the old environment. You see here, you're gonna see the green environment. And here we have the new environment, and you will not see anything. Well, you see it already. Well, it changed real quick, right? It changed real quick, right? You see how the old blue has the new, and the new has the old. So now what we have to do, we have both environments here in the application, right? We have both environments. What we have to do is the old one, we have to, as the green, the new green has the production environment, right? Because it was moved to this one. What we have to do is delete the old one, because this one already has the old URL. And that's the one that we need, because that was the one that contained the old, this is the one that contains the new code, the new green, right? But the URL was swapped because the traffic was going to this one, but now it's swapped, the traffic is gonna go to this one. So this is the one that we have to delete, right? The old blue. Do you guys understand what we're doing here?
Yes.
So we have the old code, the URL of the old code was here, right? The old code is here and the new code is here. But now the URL of this one was moved to this one, and this one to this one. This is the one that we have to delete, right? So what we're gonna do now is go ahead and terminate the old, we created this one, right? So we have EB terminate, right? And that was gonna ask us to delete this one. Okay, so I'm gonna confirm old blue environment, and that will terminate it. And that's all we need to delete the old one, and we will be able to keep the new one, which has the URLs of the other one. Even though it says old version here, it doesn't mean that it has the new and the old code. It means that whatever was there, the URL of that one was moved to this one, and that's why we see this one. But this is the green environment. This is the new environment, right? It's telling me here, new green environment, right? But I did this for you guys to see the difference between them, how it changes from one to the other. This one, soon, it will just time out. It would not have any more access to this, right? Right. Yeah, we're fine. You delete the correct one. This is the new environment. It has the URL before, for the blue one, it was swapped, and then all the traffic is coming to this. Remember that everyone was coming to this URL, right? When the old version was there. But now everyone is coming to this one, so we have to keep the same URL, right? That everybody, the traffic will move to the new environment. So this one is no longer in service, it's gone, right? And now we have the new version here. Do you guys understand what we did here?
Yeah.
Yeah. How about the rest of the class?
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of.
So kind of.
So it's like
What's
if you're going to google.com, you want to keep the traffic going to that URL, but you want to update the environment, you'd swap once you have the updated environment, right?
and people will continue going to google.com,
Yeah.
but
Because you don't want
it's
to
going to be right. It's
you don't
going to
want
be
to
a
do
new
like
version.
Google1.com because people think it's like some knockoff website.
Yeah. Basically, we keep the same URL of the old environment, but the version, the code is different. We don't want to lose the traffic. So we still keep the same URL, but now that what is behind the URL is a new environment. It's not the old one.
What happens to the traffic while it's being swapped?
Oh, there's a little downtime.
Okay, that's what I was about to say, like,
downtime.
because it's
Yeah.
it
What
takes
can
a couple
happen-
minutes, and if you're using
Yeah.
Google, that's millions
Yeah.
of requests
Sure.
in a couple
Sure.
seconds.
But if you have just like it is here, you're gonna have downtime. What you can do is in the meantime, add the traffic to a static website hosted in an S3 bucket. So people can still have something, right? Maybe
So
your
like
website's
an old version
What?
in a bucket.
Yeah, that's right. So maybe you can have, this is gonna be probably dynamic website, but you cannot host a dynamic website in S3. So you have to host a static website. So static means that you don't have that interaction with the website, right? You don't have that interaction like JavaScript, something like that, right? What makes a website dynamic is when you add a JavaScript or a JavaScript framework that makes your website interactive. If you have only CSS and HTML, that's a static website. So in the meantime, so the people can have something, you can reroute the traffic to an S3 bucket static website. And once the application is back and running, you can move the traffic back to the application. So you don't want to have a white page or something like your website cannot be reached or something that's even worse than having a static website, right? So that could be a solution for that. But obviously, well, in this case, there was no downtime because, I mean, what's our code? It's just a few lines of code. That's nothing. But when you have a bunch of things that make your website a little slower because you have a lot of code, right? Then it will take time to swap, right? And also the old environment is going to have a TTL. A TTL is a time to live, depending on the record. So it's going to take some time for that to fully propagate, right, to the new environment. That might be a problem if it is a big application. But there are other workarounds, just like one that I told you, that reroute the traffic to a static website. That's one of the recommendations of AWS. Reroute it to a static website. The customers don't lose, right? It's going to be a little limited because it's a static website. And then once the application is back and running, just move back the traffic to what it was, right? So this is basically a blue-green deployment. It's good for testing website new versions of the code. If it works, it's completely operational. Move the traffic entirely to the new environment, right? So you don't want to send all the traffic just right away. You want to test it. If it works, go ahead and move the traffic, right? So that's how you deploy an application. If I refresh this, This one has been terminated, and this one's still up, and it is right here. Okay, so it's this one, of course, right? So the all blue was terminated. Is the one that contains the URL of the one that I created, and the new green environment is it contains the one for the old. Yeah, don't let yourself be confused by the URL. The URL doesn't matter. What matters is what the environment contains, right? The URL doesn't matter. The URL is just to keep the traffic flowing as it was before. But now it's moved to a new application that contains new code, updated code, and better application, right? Right. So don't let yourself be confused by the URL that says all blue or anything like that. We leave this live. This is alive. This is dead. This is alive. This is the new environment with a URL that the old environment had. But guys, when you purchase a domain and you change the domain, you don't need these guys anymore. This is going to be in the background. So this doesn't matter. This will not confuse anyone once you have used Route 53 and purchase a domain and things like that. Okay.